It's that kind of night.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the B side with Natty B. I'm here with my host, Nia.
Hello.
And we're actually doing this at night because we decided that some people may get a little judgy about us drinking during the day.
That is not what we decided.
And since I think that it's okay to drink at work, depending on what your job is, I'm going to drink at our work, which is this podcast. So,
Cheers.
I got my solo cup. Okay, I'm going to tell you a real
Red
quick story.
Solo cup. I feel you.
So, oh shit. Can you see the color of the straw? Not barely. It has yellow in it.
Mm-hmm. Is it paper?
Okay, so no, hell no. Who invented that? Because I am all about saving the environment.
Except
I
for
recycle.
straws.
Who did that? Who said that? You know when you get your toilet paper wet and it's cheap toilet paper and it just does this thing? Like, that's how I feel about straws. So I had never used a paper straw until I started dating Ryan. And the part of St. Pete that he lived in, like, Hillsborough County, whatever, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just like this certain zip code that was paper straw only.
Eco-friendly.
And I went. Yeah. Did Ryan send you in here to bring me this? Oh. Because I took all the ice by Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, good. We got another drink here.
Yes, double fisting it.
Love you guys. Go coconut. Everybody want to see my little coconut?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm not putting my dog in the camera. I have a 80-pound Rottweiler, so yeah, and his hair's not dyed.
Capone.
So.
Coco's making a cameo. So I remember I don't remember where we went, but they gave me a paper straw. And when I say everyone has to follow this ordinance, so does Starbucks. So I went to Starbucks and I got something iced. And I went to open it and it started bending. And I'm like, what is it doing? And I took it out and I'm like, who in the hell? I don't know who invented them, but they are freaking awful. So I just wanted to let everyone know. So anywho, so I have plastic straws, which I do recycle. And I have learned that I am 35 and I don't feel like washing dishes. So unless somebody important comes over, like my parents, like I do a dinner, for example, pasta. I won't put pasta in the paper plate. Like pasta with the sauce or whatever, that goes in a special plate to me. So, anywho, we have straws to label his and hers. Like Ryan gets a color, I get a color. It doesn't have to be a specific color, but
once you open the pack, his drink, his color is
right. Like whatever color. No, like whenever he's making the drink, he'll pick a color for me, a color for him. That way we know whose drink is whose. Because he says I'm a little complicated, which I don't think I am. I think I'm very... I don't like the face you're making, but I don't think I'm complicated. I would call it exquisite if I had a name of a word. So anywho, I like vodka tonics.
Do not mean the same thing. I wanted to.
I like vodka tonics, and sometimes I like my raspberries muddled in my vodka tonic, which is why he calls me complicated. So we have separate straws. Well, Target has all white straws. So I went to Target one day, and I mean, when I tell you I looked, and this is like super Target. I'm not talking about like your
Did
regular
you go to
old Target.
customer
I'm talking about
service
super
and say, "Do you
Target.
have any colored straws, or are they all white?"
I didn't, but I brought a pack because we were out, and when I got home, Ryan went to make his drink, and he's like, "Did you do this on purpose?" He said, "Why would you buy all white straws to throw me off?" And I'm like,
To throw.
right. So he thinks I intentionally picked the white straws because I know how his OCD is, which is not true. So I told him, I said, babe, Target does not have color, which blows my mind. Why do you sell all white straws? You know
Maybe it's
what I
because you
mean?
live in
Like
a white
Publix has the
neighborhood.
color straws.
I bet you.
No, I
bet you.
actually,
If you go to
I'm
the
gonna go.
Publix
I'm gonna go
closest
to
to
the
your mother
Target.
house, they got colored straws. I'm just saying. I guarantee
Oh my
they got
goodness.
colored straws off of Florida Avenue.
They may. They may, but I just wanted to let everyone know that my husband likes to differentiate our drinks.
With straws.
And he thinks that I got white straws on purpose, which I did not.
You're so
But
maniacal.
now we laugh about it. I'm like, he's like, you got these straws on purpose because you knew that they were going to bother me.
I
And I was
see
like,
him
no,
again.
they
I'll
actually.
be like, right, she was definitely in the store like, ha ha ha, this will throw him off. All white straws.
I knew it would, but that's all they had, so that's what I got.
So now he's like making markings.
Right. I mean, I can go on for days.
Y'all don't even
about
drink the
things.
same stuff.
He
though.
has. Well, now he's like all about vodka tonics because it's low calorie. No, he does not do the muddled raspberries. But today I'm doing a vodka tonic with limes, and I do the diet tonic because I'm all about watching my calories. It tastes the freaking same.
Water. What do you need diet bubbly water for?
Because bubbly water, it's not club soda. Tonic does have sugar in it. And it's a high amount for 8 ounces.
Yep. I drink red, lower calories, you know.
I'm a red drinker too. But now that I'm older, I can't really drink wine like I used to. But anyways, so I wanted to tell you guys about my straws because why not? That's the type of things that go on in the Crane residence. But today we're going to talk about co-parenting.
I want to know who came up with that term because as I just put this out here, I am a child of divorced parents. Okay, when I was a kid, I was like 10. My parents got divorced, and then ultimately both of them remarried. So I grew up in a blended family, and it was blended cultures at that. So yeah, all right, cool. Who the hell came up with this term co-parenting? I never heard it all my life until I was getting divorced and having to deal with parenting my children with the other parent. And now all of a sudden there's this term of co-parenting. Where did that come from?
Honestly, to me, there's nothing about it. Because if I'm being real, when you said, where does the term co-parenting come from? For me, like when I think of I think of like co-ed.
You mean like doing things together? You feel like
right.
The co part indicates that it's two or
correct
more
togetherness
exactly together.
Co-football, co-volleyball.
That's not what happens.
Correct. That's not co-parenting. Correct. So I think we should probably I think that we should probably
Come up with a new term. I'm with it. I
right,
vote
correct.
for dual parenting. You
There
do
you
your
go.
thing. I'm
I
doing my
like dual because
thing.
to me, dual is
Right.
two.
Right.
Dual
Right.
is two
Right.
to me.
What do you call when one parent ain't doing shit and the other parent does everything? What are we gonna call that? Hashtag girl mom.
So you know how I feel about
Hashtag son mom. Like I don't. What do we call it? Like I'm not saying that was my circumstance. I'm just as a hypothetical. You know, like
every time you say you know, it erases everything else you said. Just for the record, I
it ain't dual because it ain't two of us. Only one of us is showing the fuck up to work. Okay, so
this is my issue about dual parenting. My issue about dual parenting is that obviously the relationship did not work for whatever reason, right? And usually when you dual parent, those differences that you had in your
still
relationship,
exists.
I don't give a damn who you are, still exist, which pours into your
Oh, you
dual
mean
parenting.
so like when communication
And
was a struggle while you were in a relationship, now
correct.
having to communicate
Correct.
regarding said child or children is obviously going to still be a
Correct.
struggle because the person still doesn't know how to communicate.
Correct. Not only that, but I also feel a long, long time ago, I remember telling someone, and I don't know where I got this from, but I remember telling someone that getting a divorce is easy. You literally file, it goes to the judge.
It was real
Especially
easy for
if you
me.
don't
I
have
didn't do
kids,
nothing.
it's like a turnaround.
I
Right.
got divorced.
Right.
So someone divorced me. I didn't have to do nothing.
Right. Right. Exactly. That is easy. Breaking up is easy. Having a kid with someone, you are stuck for life.
I repeat that in the name of Jesus.
And
okay. Yeah. I'm not going to speak that over my life.
There's graduation.
What does that have
There's
to do
graduation.
with? See, this is why we changed the term, right? Because co-indicated togetherness.
Because you have to be there.
Them.
You have to be there.
To be there. But I have successfully been in the same location as my children's other parent, and we were not in the same place. It's achievable.
What I mean by that is that you always have, and I've been in that situation as well with my husband and his ex, where we had to come together. And by together, I mean we were in the same location, but they did their thing and we did our thing. So yes, but what I mean by that is that there's going to be grandchildren, there's going to be birthdays, there's going to be weddings, there's going to be
together.
You don't have to do it together, but you will always be tied to that person because of your child.
I don't really like your language, so I'm not going to receive that. But
you remember when you used to and you still do it to this day, when I call you for advice and I don't like what you said, and I do the whole hello?
I think the phone is breaking up.
I can't hear you. Or I get real quiet and you're like, hello, neither. That's kind of like how I feel right now. You're kind of doing that to me. But yeah. It's like you hear the message, but you're just not agreeing, so you're just moving on.
Say that I am stuck for life, you gosh darn dang it right, there's something that blips in the connection, because I do not, nor will I, receive that. And I say that, I mean, I say it jokingly from that perspective, but I really don't agree with that perspective. I really don't agree that you have to do a lot of stuff that people try to make me believe that you have to do. It is a choice, right? And depending on how old your children are, when you separate dictates the level of communication and interaction that you're required to have. At this juncture, my children are basically grown. I have a 22-year-old, a 20-year-old, and an 18-year-old. For all intents and purposes, there's no reason for me to speak to their father. Now, at the moment, we are on speaking terms. But I'm just saying we don't really have cause to talk. Because anything I need to talk to my children about, I reach out to them individually. And if they want my opinion,
Right. And I think that's like the in every dual parenting situation. When your child is capable of talking to you directly, and there's no calling the dual parent to speak to the child,
it's not the
or
angels
vice
didn't
versa.
sing, right? Because despite the fact, because it's been this way in my situation for quite some time, probably since our youngest was about 14, so for the last 4 years or so. Outside of major issues, we really haven't had a need to talk. And every now and then, if he needs to say something to me, I need to say something to him, we will text message back and forth. But we did have volatile communication for a very long time. And so when it came to the point where the kids could ask the information and relay relatively successfully between the two, that actually was a better option than trying to force us to have to communicate with one another when, again, when we were together, married, we didn't have successful communication. Now we're not married. We don't have to talk to each other. So what is the enticement to actually have to work on that communication? At the end of the day, what I care about is that my children get what they need. And I presume he cares about the same. So as long as those things are happening, and that's what I mean when I say, like, we discussed what we were going to talk about today. I wanted to bring this subject up because, like I said, I believe my perspective diverges from the norm quite a bit. I do not believe in have-tos. You do what's best for your family and for the people involved. There are ideal scenarios, yes, but there's no rule that says for now that we're divorced, that from now on we are forced to be around each other to celebrate our child's birthday party or our birthday every year. Or you throw our kid a party where you want to with the people you want to invite, and I'll throw our kid a party where I want to and invite the people I want to invite, and our kid gets two parties. That is an option.
It is. And let's go. I'll share a personal story. So this was many, many, many moons ago. I mean, a long, long time ago. And you have always gotten on me about doing too much when it comes to said dual parenting. So I, being the person that I am, I did not have a good relationship with my father. My father was the definition of a deadbeat. He would come around when he felt like it. He lived about 20 minutes from where we lived. My mom never kept him away from us. And for a long time, I resented other people for having great relationships with their fathers. But the reality of it is that it has made me to be the person that I am today. And boy, have I had to learn some lessons to get to where I'm at today. But my dad died when I was 21. And God is really funny because my daughter goes to school down the street from where he's buried. And I got pregnant. He died in June. I got pregnant. I found out I was pregnant in October. So he never got to meet Ariana, but where he's buried, there's a 4-way stop. So I have to stop every day there to freaking get Ariana to school. So I say that to say that I want my child to have a great relationship. So because of that, I have kept quiet about things. I have done things that, looking back at it, I will never do again. And you learn your lessons, right? So Ariana was 4 years old, and we decided to have a co-parenting birthday party.
Didn't I say I don't think it's a good idea? I want to say I was like, hey, I don't like this idea.
You did. But, because the reason why I share that about my biological father is because I had a great stepdad. My stepdad was a provider. My stepdad went to school functions. My stepdad, he was a provider. So the reason why I'm giving the backstory on my dad is because for me, my justification is that I tried a little bit harder than anyone normally would, because I want Ariana to have a great relationship with her dad and not be robbed of that per se. So anywho, I decided that we were going to have this co-parenting party, and I'm calling it co-parenting because we did it together. He bought this, I bought that, whatever. My family came, some of my friends came, and it was the worst. I want to say that I took a shot before I even got to the party.
You knew what type of time it was going to be on.
The way that right, exactly. The way that my relationship ended, this person was going to be at the party.
I'm sorry.
So me being Mrs., I'm going to be the bigger person.
I get the sneaky suspicion you're trying to roll over a key piece of information that is quite contextual to what we're talking about. I know you don't want to put people's business out there. And for all of you who know Naide personally, we ask that you not run back and tell the band that he was discussed on the show. We are simply sharing our personal stories from our perspective. He's more than welcome to start a podcast with some of his dumbass friends and talk about us. But now that that's been said, how did the relationship end?
So,
I'd like to know. You can't explain the co-parenting situation without giving the backstory. You told your whole life story about your daddy issues, but you're not going to tell us about how the relationship ended, thus it impacted this 4-year-old co-parenting birthday party situation? Okay, all right.
Yes. So I was a victim. I was a victim of infidelity.
I can't wait to our next victim. Because I guarantee you, no one says victim when they're referring to infidelity. You said I was violated. A crime was committed.
See how I tied that in? Exactly. I was violated and a crime was committed. So I was a victim. And ladies and gents, I don't give a fuck who you are, where you came from, how long, if you were married, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend. If you have been cheated on, you are a victim, okay? So I just want to put that out there. So anyhow.
That group gonna be big as shit. Yo.
I was a victim. Oh my
God. Did you lose a family member?
I was a victim.
Were you attacked? No, that stupid nigga cheated on me. What? Ma'am, your trauma is not intense enough for you to be in this group. You need to go down the hall.
You know what? But let's be real. Why isn't that why do we normalize?
Like if
Yes.
you're married and you commit adultery, in most states it's illegal.
Correct.
Yeah,
Especially if you're in the military. I know a few of
personal
those.
story.
But I know a few
We're
of
not
those.
going down that
But
rabbit hole.
no, we won't go down that rabbit hole. But I feel like we, meaning all of us, we normalize cheating. Like it's oh, you got cheated on. Oh, girl, go ahead.
Not
Go
over
ahead.
here.
Move on,
Hey
girl.
guys, hey. So at the B side, we don't normalize cheating. Well, I'll put it this way: we normalize it along with violence.
No, fuck that.
So the consequences of cheating are likely to be violence. So yeah, but we're not going to say it's okay. Never.
It's not okay, and I know a lot of women and men who have been victims of that. And I'm going to call it a victim because I don't think it's okay. I think that I have personally never cheated on anyone. I've been very straightforward with my intentions. And if I don't fucking like you anymore, then I will go as far as kicking you out of our newly signed lease apartment, because I don't feel that deceiving people is okay. That's like the out of many things on my list, that's at the top of my list. Like I rather, and I respect someone coming forward and being like, you know what, this isn't working out. I have started to grab the attention of whoever, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going to cuss you out, but I am going to, I wholeheartedly rather you come and tell me the truth than me find out down the line, or you make up all these damn excuses. And the reality of it is you're not happy. You found someone, you feel like they're going to make you happy, so you need to move on. So
I do think that we should put a pin in that and definitely mark an episode to come back to this, because I'm on the other side of the coin. Unfortunately, I cannot say that I've never cheated on someone because I had some not so honest days in my past. But it's interesting because what you just explained was not my circumstance, right? I wasn't in a situation where I was completely unhappy and just wanted something else. I don't want to say I stumbled, but I recklessly ended up in a situation.
But you do. Everyone's human. Right. I have been, and when I say I've never cheated on someone, I would be lying if I didn't say that I've put myself in situations, and you have been there when I've put myself in a specific situation. But it's kind of like you see where it's going, and then you have to be honest with yourself and be like, you know what? I see where this is going, so let me back up. I have been in those situations before where it starts off as real innocent and la la la, and then next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, like there's a fork in the road, and I can either go left or right. So I need to pull back and, you know, make the proper decision. So with that being said, going back to
it was a rough breakup given the circumstances.
It was literally. It was a rough breakup, and because of my daddy issues, which I have no shame, and I've always been very honest about that, my father not being in my life impacted me tremendously, because I always felt like I wasn't good enough. And I was very angry for a very long time. And my dad died very young. He was 56 years old. And even on his deathbed, he never gave me a reason as to why he wasn't involved in my life. So with that being said, my dad died in June. I found out I was pregnant in October. Ariana was born in June. So I tried the best that I could to make the best out of the relation where our relationship was at. And when we split up, she was 2. So we had this co-parenting 4th birthday party. And boy, oh boy, if you are newly single, newly divorced, newly whatever, the worst, the worst fucking thing you can do
And I
is
did
have
it
a
too. So,
co-parenting birthday party. You because you try, right? They're like, for me, the one constant thing that I've always wanted Ariana to feel is that it doesn't matter that she has a split parenting situation. She is the center and she gets love from both sides. That's always been my goal. And because of the way that I grew up and because of the issues that I had with my dad, to me, that was above all else, above all the noise, above all the, I can't believe you're fucking doing that, above the, girl, why you even talk to him, above everyone's opinions and advice. For me, including my mother, for me, it was important to try to do this. Well, guess what? We fucking tried. And it wasn't for me. I was miserable the entire party. My heart rate was probably 119 the entire time. I was on edge. And that was a lesson that I needed to go through, because guess what? We haven't had a fucking co-parenting party since. And
but
she
you
is
know what?
13
I'm
years
glad
old.
that you bring
So,
that up and share that
so
instance. And yes, I had a couple of them, because being married and having 3 children and then getting divorced, and you often want the kids' lives to, like, you have this fallacy, or not, I don't want to say fallacy, but you have this ideal that you want to minimize the disruption to your children's lives that this change is going to have. And you understand it's necessary because you two, as adults, are not on the same page, and what you thought was going to work out is not going to work out. And under normal circumstances, both parents don't want the children to suffer as a result of the choices that they make. That being said, it's hard to understand sometimes how your actions and what you do or don't do is going to affect the children throughout that circumstance. So, yes, oftentimes when you break up, you try to still do the together things that you used to do that are about the children. And one of the downsides is that 9 times out of 10, when it's time to have that co-parenting situation, both parties are not healed and completely over the circumstance. So now you're coming back together and there are
correct.
still open
Correct.
wounds. And like
And
you said, you described that it was not an amicable split. And then on top of that, you felt victimized and then had to turn around and see the 2 people you felt victimized by the entire damn party.
correct. Right. Even even with it being 2 years after, because Ariana Ariana's dad and I split when she was literally, she had just turned 2. She was probably like 2, she turned 2, and then like a month and a half went by and then we split up. So for me,
Right.
there was no way I would have done that if it would have been her 3rd birthday party. So I thought that I could handle it being her 4th party. And to be honest with you, it was not only hard to watch, but it at that moment is when I realized that being a good parent does not mean putting down your guard and putting down your boundaries because you think that's best for the kid. And I think that's what a lot of people do. Like some people back in the day when everything first happened, I mean, I used to cry at my desk and I would be like, "Oh my god, is she going to like her more than me? Is she going to start calling her mom? And, you get all this unsolicited advice. But the one takeaway that I have from that is that being a dual parent is not the end of the world. And I had to learn that. And then I would get the people that are married saying, I mean, I'm in the beauty industry, so I get all types of clients, and I would get, oh, I've been married for 14 years, and I feel like when it comes to parenting the kids, like I'm really the parent. So being together doesn't necessarily mean that you are not dual parenting, because each individual has their own opinions on how to parent. So the reason why we picked this topic to discuss is because we have come a long way from that. And being a dual parent doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. Being a dual parent doesn't mean that you're a bad person. But you have to learn to, boundaries are very important. And you saying, no, I don't feel comfortable with that. No, I'm not going to that. No, I'm not doing this, doesn't make you a bad parent. Because that's something that I did for a very long time. I'm like, damn, dance recitals, he was there with her. Birthday parties, school plays, like everything was like, I would come by myself and he would bring who he was with. And I had to learn that it was okay to be there by myself, because that was me. That was my story. And I looking back then to now, the amount of growth that I've made, the amount of realization of who I am as a person that I've made, the amount of everything that I've done makes it okay for me to be her mom. A big difference between you and I is that you were married and you got divorced, so you kept your last name. I was not married, and I did not have a last name to keep. And every story is different. Every journey is different. But I do not consider myself a baby mama. I fucking despise that term. I am my daughter's mom. And I have learned that it's okay that our story when it comes to parenting her is not the traditional story. And that's something that society, to this day, you look at, I'll use Kim Kardashian as an example because everybody wants to talk about the Kardashians all the time, but she's no longer married. And it is clear to the public eye that there is differences in parenting styles. But I'm here to tell you that there's differences in parenting styles for even people that are married. That's just the way that it is. We all come from different backgrounds. So your ideal situation of parenting a child does not necessarily have to match up with whoever you're with or whoever you are no longer with. The important thing is to be there for the child, listen to the child, and also realize that it's not a traditional home setting. Like you said, I did that one party, and ever since then, you do your party, I do my party. You invite your people to your party, I invite my people to my party. And at the end of the day, the child is still the center.
And you know what I learned?
Of what it is.
Because it is their party. A number of parties before I was smart enough to say, I'm not doing this anymore. And you want to know why? Because that's what I
love that you use the word suffer.
Again, what society's ideals or what they project as what we should all strive for can be debilitating. And it can have you in a place enduring and suffering through things that God never intended. There were many parties that I did where I funded the entire thing. And I was miserable while I was at my child's party because I had to sit across from my ex-husband and his new girlfriend. And whether or not someone thinks that I should or shouldn't be able to handle it,
While she was eating your fried
listen,
chicken.
my fried chicken, my pizza, my whatever. Because like I said, I'm doing this entire party for our
Cornbread.
child with help sometimes, without help sometimes. But either way, I'm trying to put on this, I won't say facade because I'm not a fake person. I was
Facade.
really trying to co-parent, right? I was really trying to do what they say you're supposed to do until I
No.
realized that's some bullshit.
Right. You're
Like,
right.
at the end of the day, here's the thing. Is my kid okay? Because that's what matters. And it took me, and that's why I say I had to suffer through. And my children had to check me. My children had to say to me, if you're going to be in the condition that you're normally in when he's around, with whoever he's with, then just don't even worry about it. And that was a very sobering moment when my kids were like, yo, I know you're trying to do this for us. We don't need it. We good. Like, we just much rather have some time with you where you're not angry or you're not seething in the corner or you're not weepy. Like, you know, all these things.
Or you're not entertaining the girlfriend while the flavor of the week while other things go on. And I agree. It's, you know what it is though? Society again makes it hard on women, right? Like, I know.
See what this topic does to
One
me?
of the things that I have come to learn
The
and
bottle was half
accept.
empty before we started. Let me not act like that. I'm just.
One of the things that for me, society, not even society, dual parenting is very fucking hard. Just like parenting is. I talk to people all the time who are married, been married 50, 60, 20 years, 5 years, 7 years. When you have two people that come together from different backgrounds and they have a child together, it is bound. There's bound to be some friction.
Kids.
There's bound to be some things that you don't agree on.
I didn't get divorced until my youngest child was 3 years old. So that means me and my husband were parenting our two older children and our youngest kid together for 3 years. There was a whole lot of shit that he did as a parent that as his wife, I hated. But he was my husband, and he was the father of those particular children. So it was like,
right.
What do I say?
Right, exactly. So I think my biggest takeaway from all of this is that number one, co-parenting is not bad.
Number one.
Because
number one,
the reality of it is when you're married, you co-parent.
Is not what the fuck you're doing when you're no longer together. Co-parenting is what you have the opportunity to do when you're together.
Correct.
Because like you said,
you're correct.
And like I can attest to, there were many times within my marriage that I did not feel like I was co-parenting. I was doing the same shit I was doing after that nigga left. So I was still doing the majority of the work. So co-parenting can only happen when both individuals want to work together, not just want what's best for the kid. Both individuals want to work together, hence the to parent their child, versus what we're saying is truly dual parenting, where you're both parenting the same set of kids, but you're doing it your own individual way. And the fallacy that you should do it together is just that, a fallacy. I'm going to spend my time with my kids.
But you know what? I will say I agree with you, but I don't. Because I will say that to me, co is when you're married. Or fuck marriage. Not fuck marriage, but co is when you Not fuck marriage. I love my husband. Co is when you do it together, meaning boyfriend, girlfriend. To me, co is like you live in the same household. And like you said, you were married to your husband for a good amount of years and you did not agree necessarily with everything that he did. That to me is co-parenting. Right. Once you are apart, to me, that is dual parenting. You're doing what the fuck you think is right, and I'm doing what the fuck I think is right. And then we come together and we hash it out because I have had many of hash out sessions where
jab it out.
What would you listen? We jab it out. You have your opinion. I have my opinion, and this is what it is. Like at the end of the day, and I will say this, for many, many years, I have kept my mouth shut. I have kind of gone with the current, and I have gotten compliments from teachers saying, "Oh my goodness, you guys co-parent so well." And the reality of it is, we are two people trying to raise this beautiful human. Hello, beautiful human. We are two people trying to raise a child, and that does not mean that we're going to agree with everything. And that's okay. That's the thing. People think that when you don't agree with something and you jab it out, that means, oh my God, like, why did I do this? At the end of the day, the child is here. The child is healthy. The child has, said things that's going on with their life, and you need to jab it out and get back to the reality that this child needs the both of you. It doesn't matter what you believe, what I believe, the center is the child. And I think that's where society shames you and it makes it seem like because you guys have different opinions that they're wrong. There is no right opinion. You have your way of raising your kids, and I've watched you.
Girl,
I met you when TJ was 2 years old, and he's going to be 18, which makes me
and
disgusted.
You know me, right? So I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm kind of like a thug mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get super ooey gooey. We don't do that. So he calls me today, and he's like, "Yeah, I have my pictures. Da da da.
Right.
The package is this much because, of course, I got to kick out some dough." So I'm like, "All right, bet. Just text me how much." I said, "Send me an invoice. I need to see it in writing." I'll have a check cut through AP for you. But so I said, okay, so now that like this is legit, I was like, so what are your thoughts for what you're going to do for after you graduate? He was like, whoa. He said, I am not discussing that today. He said, this was already a lot. He said, when they put the cap and gown on, I was like, ugh. He said, and then when they put the gown on, that's how it was. And then when they put the cap on, he was like, it's real. And I'm thinking, So here I am talking trash like, nigga, come on. I said, you've been talking your whole life about this moment. You've been waiting to graduate and finally be done with high school. And now all of a sudden you expect me to believe like it's too real. Oh my gosh, whatever. Girl, he sent me some little snapshot of him like waiting for his turn to take his picture in his cap and gown. Girl, I had a thug tear. One right there. Oh my gosh. I said, my baby about to graduate.
The fact that TJ,
remember when he used to
the fact that he's gonna be 18
sitting next to you
makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's probably rubbing some other. Hi, Coco.
Look who it is. Look who came to see me. Say hi.
Yes. Tell her.
I told Ariana whenever boys ask her to send nudes, she needs to send a picture of Coco like this.
I got your nudes right here. Like, no, I think she should just send a picture of your 380.
Thank you. Where's my phone?
Like, you should be like, Here's my nudes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait. I went shooting last weekend.
Thank you.
Girl,
Yeah.
I probably I shot like 7 different weapons.
I haven't
I'll
been
send
shooting
you
in
the
a long, long
videos
time.
because when I say I was in heaven,
Mm.
I'm with it. I had some heavy
How about we
artillery.
post
I
the
am in love
videos?
with the AR
How about we post the videos
that I gave my number
on
to.
our
Like it
Facebook
was that
page?
kind of situation. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I will the whole point of this is number one to encourage people, right? Um co Dual parenting, co-parenting, whatever type of parenting you're doing is not the end of the world. I had to learn that. There is no when I
Mm-mm.
tell you I have
Mm-mm.
patients that are not
Mm-mm.
80, 90 years old, there is no fucking book on parenting. Zero. Zero. I could write a bestseller right now and it would not give you the one of the hardest things is to parent in this stage and age with social media and the pressures of society, everybody having a cell phone. Like that's not how I grew up. When I got
Girl, I
my
was
first cell
married when
phone
I
when I
got my
was
first cell
16,
phone.
and you had to pay for text messaging per text. There was no right. So there literally
Receipt.
is
So
no
you can't
book,
take them back.
no
And no 30-day return policy,
there's no book, there's
And
no
here's the
yeah.
one thing I do want to say also is because as we've talked about this over this last week, because you've been through a couple of things and then over the years as well, I said this to you a couple days ago. And I feel like this is one of those things that everyone who's in this type of scenario where you were in a relationship with someone, you had a child, and now you all are no longer together. As a parent, you are not responsible for the relationship between your child and the other parent. And next time we touch this subject, we can go a little deeper in that perspective because I think that that contributes to a lot of the struggles and the trip ups of the suffering and the going through things or whatever because we take on the responsibility like, well, I chose this person to procreate with. My kid didn't have a choice of their
Have a nice
parent, right? So it's my responsibility to make sure that my kid has everything that they need. And my kid needs a good relationship with their dad, or my kid needs a good relationship with their mom. So therefore, I have to endure and I have to go through all these things to ensure that they have a good relationship. That's a fallacy. Number one, you can't control it. You could do everything under the sun and they still have a terrible relationship because that's not your relationship. That is a relationship between your
you
child and
can't.
that other parent.
You
The
can't.
best you can do is support your kid through it, regardless of how it's going.
Right.
But that issue right there causes so much strife in the so called co parenting
And
efforts because one parent thinks that they have to dictate and they have to make sure that the other one has the right kind of relationship. That's not your job.
it's not. And I feel like at the end of the day, whether you are with your, excuse me, co parent, whether you're dual parenting, whatever the case may be, at one point in time, you created that child and you were in that relationship. And that is honestly my biggest takeaway because at when my daughter was conceived, when my daughter was born, I thought that that was going to be my future with that parent, and it didn't turn out that way. And that doesn't mean, I feel like society puts to shame. Oh, I get all the time. Oh, you don't have your daughter this week. You're so lucky.
Girl, you
Oh,
know what I
no,
went through.
I want to have my daughter every fucking day if I'm being honest. I have missed, right. I have missed so many memories, and I haven't even gone through what you have gone through. So for me, it's like that's just I co-parenting doesn't mean, or dual parenting or whatever type of parenting you're doing does not mean, oh,
You know what?
I
I
wish I
never
could take
had
a
that
break. I
thought
hear that all the
when I
time.
had
I
my
wish I could take a
children
break. No, you
100%
fucking
of the
don't.
time. As much as them little
Because
rugrats
there have
got
been
on my
many.
nerves, and let me be clear, every last one of them tap dance on my nerves at one point or another. But I never had the thought like, oh my God, I just wish I had a break from my kids. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't want to leave them suckers at home and go to the beach and come back. But I never wanted to
Right.
be completely separated from my children. And the way my life
Right.
went, that's what
Right.
happened for me is I had to learn how to parent from a distance because I ended up moving. And the courts did not permit me to bring my children with me, despite that being my goal. And like again, it's like having to deal with the way society looks at things. I was so impacted by what other people think and how the depiction of a woman who is a mother who does not have her children in her custodial responsibility, that I would be at church on Mother's Day and they would say, all the mothers stand up, and I wouldn't stand up. Like, that's how bad it was for me. That because I didn't have my kids with me, I felt like, oh no, you know what I mean? I'm not a mom. But that's not reality.
It's not, and I hate that society. Like there are some cases where you have the house with
Those be
the
the
picket
houses
white
that be on
fence and
snaps.
whatever the
I
case
just
may
want to point
be.
that out.
But being they are.
Really?
They really are. But at the end of the day, you have a child with someone who you feel like that is the proper move, or sometimes it's not like that. But I highly encourage people, number one, stop fucking judging. I have a big issue, and we're going to talk about this on another episode, but I have a big issue with people that claim to be Christians and they're always fucking judging. Like, bitch, you are not a Christian. You are not. Because the one thing that I've taken away from my faith and from everything that I've read, learned, whatever, is that everyone should be loved the same. White, purple, gay, whatever the case may be. So
I don't
stop
say
judging.
congratulations because you don't even like
congratulations that you've been
and you
married for
don't get
60
kudos
years
from me
and you got
for
kids and
staying
grandkids.
unhappy for 40 years. I'm sorry. I'm not going to celebrate the fact that you stayed suffering in a situation
Correct.
for that long.
Correct.
No. Right. No, I celebrate the woman
Correct.
who says, I am tired of this
all
sorry
for
Negro,
perception.
and I am done,
all
and I would rather do it by myself.
I haven't really...
Okay. Then be tied to this nigga who ain't gonna do shit with me. So bet. We throwing a party for her. But this chick over here, who y'all barely even speak, except for at birthday parties where you so-called co-parenting, no. Because around here we do the real and the raw and the authentic. And what we not gonna do is pretend like we're happy in a situation that we're really not happy. Everything doesn't work out. You try some stuff, it works. You try some stuff, it don't work. It's okay. Like you said, it's okay that you don't agree. It's okay that you're not on the same page. You come from two different backgrounds. That's understandable. Keep the child first, keep God first, and everything else will work out.
Everyone does.
You've been drinking.
Everyone does. Everyone does. Whether you're married.
We are not saying that so.
I've been drinking. I've been drinking. Oh my goodness. Everyone does.
Who saw
Parenting
that coming?
is a motherfucker. I don't care who you are.
You definitely sound like you've been drinking.
I don't care who you are.
Everything
I don't care
sucks
what your
for
background is.
everybody.
I've been drinking. I've been drinking. You know what? But I'm being real because I tell people that all the time. Like we, both of our professions, we come across so many people. And for me, I'm going to be fucking real. This whole picture of perfect, it does not exist. There is no one out there. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much.
Seen a picture of my children at work?
Oh my God. TJ's going to be 18, so 16 years.
No damn white picket fence at my house.
No.
And what we're not about to do is pretend. No. And I ain't gonna lie. I needed to be ready for a quick exit, so I ain't put no pictures up.
I was thinking about that the other day. No, and
you know I'm dead ass serious. Oh,
I'm laughing because
I only got a couple days.
If anyone came to my office, they would be like, "Damn, this bitch does not."
And like I said, even though we were born in this time, we come from a place of those things are separate. My work is my work, my family is my family, and all of you niggas that I work with don't need to know about my family. You don't need to know what my man look like. You don't know what my kids look like.
Correct.
None of your
and
business.
I don't need you.
My job. It is not pertaining to what we talk about here. So you don't need to know any of that. The hell? No. Yeah. And it's funny because people would come in my office, especially as you get higher in leadership and you have your own office, and people expect that, like, I never posted my degree. Like, I didn't have shit hanging up in my office.
Exactly.
You want to know why? This isn't even my company. I just work here. Like, when I'm about to put stuff on the wall, I'm going to hang my degree in my headquarters when my name is on the side of the building. I'm not hanging my degree in here at this other dude company. Like, we're not going to do that.
No. Right. Right. No, I know. And I laugh because I have an employee that put a picture of her and her son, and I'm like, damn. These people probably think I'm cold as fuck because the only thing that I have up on my wall is Ariana drew a picture of me. And I'll post it tomorrow. Ariana. Actually, she gave me some hair.
That was not for you.
And my shirt says that I know everything.
She said, let me help you all out.
My shirt says.
My mama knows everything. Just listen to her.
She literally put, I'm pretty sure she put, my name is Mom and I know everything or something. But I'll post it tomorrow on our Facebook page because that is the only thing that I have up, because I tell them all the time,
don't put my name on the parking space.
I'm going to just leave.
I don't want none of that.
I don't need to collect family pictures. I don't need y'all.
Until my name is the name that signs all the checks. My name don't need to go on nobody's life.
I don't need y'all to pack up my shit.
Oh, speaking of, I do have to do a little plug.
Correct.
And we will
I don't need any of them
attached to this video. But my mommy wrote a book. Yeah, girl, and it is available. Yes, it is.
What?
So it's called Live Kingdom Mindset.
When? Is it on Amazon?
I will send you the link so that you can attach it.
What is it called?
I'm so excited and so proud of her. Okay, there's been a lot going on. All right.
I'm mad that you have not told me this.
Yeah.
Listen, for the record, we're best
Yeah.
friends, but this is our conversations. So we start off and we're like, did I tell you? And they're like, Nia's like, no,
That's
you didn't
us.
tell me that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me fast forward
And we do
to
that
a
every
month
day.
ago. And then we catch each other up real quick. For the record, yesterday when I called you, I went outside to talk to you about what was going on because my daughter has my ears and she likes to listen to everything. And Ariana told Ryan, she was like, "Oh, she's probably. I think she's out there talking to Kania. She'll come back and she'll be fine." That's what Ariana said. So when I came back in the house, Ryan, I was like, because Brian was like, I literally walked out of the house with like my work shirt and some booty shorts because I had on a skirt that I wore to work and I had shorts underneath. We'll explain why later. But I walked out and I came back in and I was like, oh, I was on the phone with Nia. And Brian was like, yeah, Ariana said that you were probably talking to Nia and you would come back fine. And he's like, I was trying to figure out why you didn't have shoes on. I grabbed my purse because my keys are in there and I grabbed my freaking phone. I was like, I'll be right back. So literally she's 13 and we have known each other for 16 years. So to all the moms out there, moms, dads, divorcees, all the above, it is the one takeaway that I have to say after 13 years of parenting. And Kania, you have 3 kids. I was going to say 13. I was going to say 13. After 13 years of parenting, I will say, number 1, don't lose hope. Number 2, I love my child. And at the time that I had my child, that was the person that I chose to have a child with. So I think that sometimes we get lost in this and the reality of things, and we forget where that child came from. So I want to start off with that because that's very important to me. The same thing with my husband. I love my husband. My husband and I have a fur baby with pink ears. But my husband has an amazing daughter, and that came from a time in his life where he had a child with someone else. That's not me. And that is okay. You can parent and not agree. But at one point in time, you both decided that this child was something that you wanted to have. And I think that's what we don't, when you are divorced, apart, whatever the case may be, a victim of infidelity, you kind of lose the mindset of, at one point in time, this is who I wanted to be with. This is who I wanted to start a life with, and it didn't work out. That doesn't mean that you're a failure. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. That just means that this is the reality of the situation. And it's literally an ongoing battle. You have to learn, you have to pray, you have to keep your fucking mouth shut. You gotta keep your fucking mouth shut, because sometimes it's honestly better not to say anything. It just, I've had to learn that. I've had to learn to pick my battles. You know what? I've had to learn
have you
that
ever
sometimes
seen the movie 1,000
It's just
Words?
not even worth a
I think it's called
speck
1,000 Words.
of what
check it out. We might have to plug that too. It's an Eddie Murphy movie, right? And so the movie is about that Eddie Murphy is kind of like I want to say he might be a salesperson or something, but he's a fast talker and he just says whatever. And so the story is that something happens where so he has to, basically he only has 1,000 words left.
It is.
So somehow he gets cursed or whatever, and he only has
Yeah.
1,000 words left. And there's a tree that is representing these 1,000 words. So every time he uses the word, leaves fall off the tree. And I think that like people don't consider it, but if you were to look at life like that, it would change your perspective on the things that you prioritize as being super important, right? If you only had 1,000 words left to say before you either die or go mute, would you spend time yelling and screaming at the person who cut you off? Hell no. You give them the finger and keep it moving.
No. No. I I honestly, if I were to die tomorrow, that is the one thing that I try to teach my daughter, because I literally had this conversation with her today. I know you're mad about that. I know you feel that
That
way
won't
about that,
matter.
but trust me, 20 years from now when you're walking down the aisle, when you're celebrating whatever anniversary, that shit won't matter. We spend so much time, and being in the health industry, I have seen so many people die and so many people get diagnosed with shit that you cussing somebody out at the light, you trying to fight
And you
for a
know what
parking
happens?
space, you
When
trying
you
to
get that
argue
cancer
with your kid
diagnosis,
about something that shit will
you
not
realize,
matter.
damn, I'm not going to get them 30 seconds back I was arguing with this dumbass. And I really would have rather spent that 30 seconds on the beach somewhere
Preach.
or
Preach.
something like that. And we talked about this when we
Preach.
talked about the victim and being victimized and being violated.
Correct.
That I brought up the fact that the reality of how close you are to losing everything or gaining everything or having a bad day or a bad moment is the same every single day. You just don't recognize it. And again, you think that you have to get the other person to do this or do that as the parent of your child. When the truth of the matter is you guys' relationship no longer matters.
It doesn't. It's all about the kid. And I have had people that came in for a cardiac issue and ended up having lung cancer and didn't know it. I've had people that come in for a cardiac issue and end up having breast cancer and didn't know it. So
You might not make
this
it.
mentality of, oh, I'll address that later. Oh, I'm going to travel when I retire. That shit doesn't fucking exist. And that is real and uncut. You have to live every day. I just read an article that someone sent me yesterday about a so they were driving on the Howard Franklin, and the older gentleman, he was like in his 60s, looked down to his phone and caused a pileup where the person that he hit in front of him, they died, the passenger died, the person in front of those two people, a 38-year-old and a 6-year-old, I remember those ages because they're close to mine, she has serious injuries, the child is okay. You never know. So every morning when I wake up, it doesn't matter how angry I am, how not angry I am, I lead with grace, because I don't know. I don't know when my time is going to come. And I try to teach my child that. I tell my patients that this whole, you want to complain about me calling you back 15 minutes after your appointment, you want to complain about this bill. There are so many people that are going through so many things that they don't know whether they're going to wake up tomorrow or not, because we don't know those things. So I think that that's going to be a different type of episode. But the main thing is lead with grace. Your baby daddy's going to piss you off. Your baby mama's going to piss you off. Your ex-husband, your ex-wife, everyone's going to piss you off. But at the end of the day, you have to
Yep.
zone in on your particular purpose. And that is the children or child that you bring into this world. and leading them to be
Yep.
great, because every single person that I have ever talked to wants their child to be greater than what they grew up in, than what they have become. And that's never going to change. I don't see that changing
High
past our
five to all the
lifetime.
dual parents out there.
So
Yeah.
thank you everyone for listening. And
Okay.
definitely
Well,
dual parenting.
I was with you.
I love that
till
term.
you
I actually
said,
think I'm
like,
going to write
like he's got
Joe
enough on
Biden
his
and
plate.
tell him,
This
hey.
is the prioritization we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Out of
Poor thing. He does have enough on his plate. But I'm going to write Joe Biden. I'm going to tell him to make it National Dual Parenting Day. So with that being said, we love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.